Hello, my name is Mr. Traylor. I'm the owner and founder of Dark Gift Combat and Dark Gift Combat Fighting System. I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to our website. Look around, there's a lot of information and videos here for you. As you notice by our landing page, we're not your typical corner martial arts or MMA studio. We're a reality-based combatives and self-defense tactics facility. So, what are we and who are we? Well, this is what this little video is about. So, first, a lot of people want to know what's up with the name Dark Gift Combat. Well, believe it or not, there is a reason for the name. Not only for marketing purposes, when you go down a list of John John's MMA or Chocho's Taekwondo and you come up against Dark Gift Combat, ooh, what's that? But dark is the darkest part of humanity, the meanest part of human nature, the thug, the thief, the punk that's willing to hurt you to take your $1, $2, $25, your car. That's the dark side. Gift of combat is giving you the gift to combat the dark side. Now, there is a negative connotation to Dark Gift Combat, and that mostly applies for our military individuals that we train. So that's why the name Dark Gift Combat. Now, we're very different in the fact that we have a very different method of training individuals. First and foremost, we train you in pre, during, and post, which coincides with the 4 Ds: detect, diffuse, defend, or destroy. So let's look at the pre-indicators. We're the only school in Houston that I'm aware of that teaches the pre-indicators. And you're asking, what is a pre-indicator? Well, a pre-indicator is body continence, how a person is acting, walking, and talking. A good example is all of our scenarios that we train in are actual case files that have happened to an individual. Okay? Here's a good example. You are waiting at the bus stop. An individual's walking by, and he's holding a beer bottle by the neck of the bottle. And he's talking to you, doing this and that, and all of a sudden, bam, he hits you with the bottle. Well, that was a pre-indicator. Why was he holding the bottle by the neck? Okay? Another pre-indicator, are they walking bipedal? Or are they walking and they're eyeballing you up and down? A good way to research what the pre-indicators are, and you can go more in-depth, and when you come to a school, we'll go more in-depth with you, is go to YouTube and look at sucker punches or look at muggings. And you'll see people getting mugged, and you say, oh my God, the guy couldn't see what was about to happen. And we train you into that. That's part of the first D, is detecting a potential problem. That's part of the pre-indicators. Another part of the pre-indicator is diffusing. Okay, what do you mean diffusing? Well, in scenarios that we work, we help you with verbal conflict management, which means it's trying to talk the fight down. If you walk in and you meet eye to eye with another guy and he's eyeballing you, believe it or not, that little contact, whether there was no verbal, it was all visual, you broke the ice with him. Kind of like when you're flirting with a girl. You walk in, you smile, and that kind of gives you the go-ahead to later to talk to her. Well, you just gave this guy the go-ahead because you made that eye contact. Okay? Now, all of a sudden, he's coming up to you and say, hey, man, what were you mad-dogging me? And you're like, I wasn't mad-dogging you. What, you calling me a liar now? And now, all of a sudden, he's giving a rebuttal for your answer. And we give you the tools. Let's go through that scenario again. Hey, I saw you eyeballing me. Oh, yeah, man, I thought you were a friend of mine from high school. Well, I'm not. Oh, yeah, no, I'm sorry. And so you're trying to de-escalate the confrontation verbally. And that's part of the second D, which is diffusing it. Then we go into during the physical altercation. Okay, now 99.9% of everybody teaches you what to do during a fight. But we're different too. We have a very cutting-edge technology that we use our gross motor skill set. That gross motor skill set is very essential, and be able to protect yourself in hours of training, not days, weeks, or months, but hours. Now, what is a gross motor skill set? Well, let me show you. Okay, here's how our gross motor skill set works. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to put our hands up in a passive position. Now, I'm going to back up a little bit and I'm going to show you something. Me and him in a verbal confrontation. And I'm saying, hey, bro, I don't want to fight. I'm sorry, okay? Look, I don't want a problem. I don't want to fight you. Okay, Now, I gave them all the verbal cues, but I didn't give them any of the visual cues to go along with what I was saying. And if you're a witness and you didn't hear what I'm saying, it looks like we're about to fight, even though that's not my intent. Now, let's put my hands up. I'm going to say the same thing. Hey, bro, look, man, I don't want a problem, man. I'm sorry. Let's work it out. This will help you legally later. Okay? This will also help you for potential testimonies of people around you that can validate what happened. Because my hands were in a passive position, my witnesses can state, oh yeah, look, he doesn't want to fight. At the same time, I can intercept any attack. If I'm here and he punches, boom, I have it. If he punches wild with that hand, boom, I have it. If he tries to tackle me, boom, I have it. This position here can intercept almost any punch by still looking passive. Okay? So that's our gross motor skill set. From there, we go into what we call complex skill sets, where it's a very high attribute where you got to drill it and learn it. Okay? So that's a gross motor skill set. And that's very important. Okay? Then is post. Okay? The post is after the physical altercation. What legally are you supposed to do? What morally are you supposed to do? And what self-preservation are you supposed to do? Post is, for example, let's say that I was able to do the flinch drill. I made contact. I didn't hit him as hard, but he slipped and fell and bam, he knocked himself out. Great. That wasn't my intent. I just wanted to defend myself. So now what are you legally supposed to do? Well, if there's no one that is around him that's looking to hurt you, his buddies, for example, you may want to go assist, set him up, call someone if the bouncers aren't all over you already. Say, did you see what happened? And get names and phone numbers if you have that opportunity. Why get names and phone numbers? Well, if later the police show up and he files charges on you and people know who you are and they give your name and they knock on your door and they say, why did you leave the scene? What do you mean? I stayed, I helped him up, I was nervous. There were some of his buddies, they were going to want to beat me up. So I left so that I won't have to another fight. But I have names and phone numbers of people that were there that can attest as to what happened. So now you covered yourself. And that's important. If you end up pulling a knife and you stab someone, you better render assistance if he needs it. You just can't leave him there to bleed to death, because then you can be charged for murder. So there's legal things that you have to do. Now let me ask you an important question. How many schools are teaching you pre, during, and post? How many? None? They should spend just as much time teaching you what to do during a fight as what to do before the fight and what to do after the fight. And that's where we're different. We teach you pre, during, and post. And it's all scenario based. And our scenarios are, like I said, are taken from live file cases, and that's how we work them. Another way that we're different is actually our training methods and the tools of the trade, as I like to call them. A lot of individuals will teach you how to do a knife disarm, a gun disarm, a stick disarm. But do they also teach you how to actually use the tool that you just was able to procure? If not, that weapon that you just procured is a liability, because if you didn't hurt him enough for him to stop, he's coming after you. Now, I see a lot of folks teach gun disarms, and they use wooden guns or rubber guns. We at Dark Gift Combat do not. We use an actual airsoft weapon. What is an airsoft? Well, an airsoft weapon is just like the real thing. If there's nothing in the chamber, it stays open. Okay? It has a clip, just like a real one. Okay? It shoots a BB at 330 feet per second. And it's a blowback just like a real one. This is a type of tool that we use. It's good that you know how to disarm a wooden gun or a rubber gun, but let me ask you something. What if you're doing it the whole time wrong? Well, there's 3 levels of this unique training method that we've been using since '97. Level 1 is the actual weapon, the weight. Level 2 is the weapon gassed up like it is now. Shoots air. Level 3 is an actual projectile that comes at you. There's a mental here. If you know that I can shoot you with something at 330 feet per second and you know it's going to sting, you're going to be paying very much focused on what I'm doing. Where if it was a rubber gun, there's no consequence. There's got to be consequence if you do something wrong, because your life is in the balance. Wouldn't you want your facility to train you in this manner? Now, we do cut the trigger guards, because when they do a disarm, I don't want my finger broken. So we'll cut the trigger guards on these weapons. This is one cutting-edge technology that we've been using for well over 5 years. This is not new for us. The second is edge weapons. Now, we have several different types of edge weapons that we actually work with. Level 1 is the weapon itself. Level 2 will be a rubber one, and we'll put stage blood on it, or lipstick, or chalk. And again, there's got to be a consequence to what you do. There's, you know, if you're comfortable standing 2 feet from me as I'm wielding a knife, you're not respecting the blade. That's level 2. And we do spar with these and fight with these. We're not talking about just doing the disarm. We're actually full force-on-force engagement with the blade as well as with the handgun. Okay? You don't want me to shoot you and you don't want me to stab you. And that's level 2. When we get to level 3, again, technology. Let me tell you something. A lot of these people that say, oh yeah, we do knife disarms, when I say, okay, show me, and I pull this out, they're 20 feet back. Where before they were only 2 feet because I had the rubber one. Consequence. This is what I call consequence. You do not want to be touched by this bad boy. Okay? You're going to respect the blade. And that's what we're about. We're the only school that I'm aware of that we've been doing it for as long as we have this way. Now, in the reality-based field, people are starting to come on board and use tactical airsoft weapons, stage blood, marker knives, and shock knives. And again, that's how we're different. We're very different in that aspect. And these are what we call tools of the trade of reality-based combatives. Another way that we're different is that we teach weapons of opportunity in improvised weapon. What is an improvised weapon? Well, improvised weapon can be something as simple as a water bottle found at your local grocery store. Now, a punk thief is not going to see this as a weapon. But if you strike him this way across his head or throat, trust me, he's going to learn this is an improvised weapon. What are other improvised weapons? A CD jewel case can be placed under your pillow, put 25 pennies in them, put tape around them. Someone comes into your room, grab it and hit him with the corner of that CD jewel case. The pennies is for that shock of sound. Did I just get shot? Because he's not going to know what hit him. He just knows that it hurts. That's an improvised weapon. A tie, a belt, a pump, stiletto shoes, an improvised weapon. Those are different than a weapons of opportunity. A weapon of opportunity is a weapon that just happens to be laying there. A good example is a kitchen knife. It's a weapon, so it was an opportunity for you to grab it. A broken shard of glass on the street, someone's trying to mug you, you grab it. You use it as a weapon of opportunity. A gun that you have and you're able to get to that gun. A blade. We teach you all those, and to think outside of the box. You do not live in what we call a sterile environment unless you're playing handball in square. Then there's nothing there but the ball in your hand. But there's tools all around you that you can use as an improvised weapon or a weapon of opportunity. And we'll train you to look at that. We train you to think outside the box. That's really how we're different. So I encourage you to look at our site. If you look to the right on the bottom, on your left actually, there's a forum. Go check out our forum. There's a video library over there as well. Check out the video library as well as the videos that are here on this page. I want to thank you again for coming. Thank you for watching this video. And remember, train safe, train hard, but train for real. Thanks.